Just before the break, we had those ADP results. They came in 91,000 total jobs created, slightly less than expected. But as Mike McKee was saying, it doesn't show that the economy or the jobs market is falling off a cliff just yet. Well, joining me now to talk more about jobs growth, the labor market, also the power industry, is the CEO of Southern Company, Tom Fanning. Southern Company, the biggest utility owner in the United States. Tom, great to have you back on the program.
Betty, great to be with you.
So as I mentioned, not falling off a cliff at this moment. Is that in line with what you're seeing through your businesses?
Yeah, it sure is. We've seen pretty well continued recovery on the industrial side. I would say broadly, the creation of jobs around that has been lagging, but I can point to several circumstances around the Southeast where specific plant expansions will add 1,000 jobs or more each. I could point to about 10 of those. So I think it's on its way.
So then where is it lagging, Tom?
Well, I think anything to do with the housing sector is something that you would see. So any building products associated with that particularly.
Okay, and what would likely turn that around at this point?
Well, I think ultimately as the economy begins to recover, and that's one of the things that we're particularly concerned with, creating an environment in the United States where we keep this momentum to grow the economy and therefore grow jobs. That's what's going to do it at the end of the day.
Okay, and that means something that has to come out of Washington then?
Well, and in fact, in our own industry, it's a big deal. Let me talk about our jobs. Southern Company is the only company in the electric utility industry right now that has committed $20 billion to building out, I think, a 21st century portfolio of generation, nuclear, 21st century coal, gas, renewables, energy efficiency. So I think we're doing our part. What we're seeing right now, I think, is a worry of overreaching regulation in Washington that may have the ability to chill job creation and actually significantly reduce jobs.
So for your company in particular, what is the piece of legislation that you think would actually deter your hiring?
It's actually not legislation, it's regulation.
Okay, I'm sorry, regulation.
Yeah, there's a series of regulations being promoted by the EPA that by their own estimate would cause 20,000 megawatts of the coal portfolio in America to be shut down. Another federal agency just last week came out and said it's going to be $80,000. EPA's estimate would be $11 billion added cost to the economy every year. So if it's really something like 80, which is something we believe, what is the annual cost? NERA, Economic Associates, has come out and said that across the United States, this would increase energy prices somewhere between 10 to 25%, depending on where you live. The question, Betty, I would ask is, why now? Why would you burden the economy where we're trying to grow it and people are worried about double-digit recession?
Right.
Why are you worried right now about reducing jobs when, in fact, what the engine to be to grow this economy is to create jobs for people?
But Tom, this piece of regulation you're talking about, I think the EPA, which is basically trying to get these coal-fired plants in line with their standards. I mean, I understand that it would cost billions to try to, I guess, retrofit or bring your plants in line. But some are saying, well, these increased costs. I mean, can't you just pass that on, though? I mean, does it really mean that you're gonna have to stop hiring?
Betty, over the years, I think we've been very clear to say that our business model is predicated on doing what's best for customers. And in fact, we try to provide the best reliability at the lowest prices with the best customer service every time. In my view, these regulations are overreaching and they are against our customers' interests.
Okay. Tom, from Washington, outside of regulation, what do you want to see coming out of Obama and the White House that you think is going to get businesses hiring, just overall?
Well, I think the answer is clear. Right now, there's this argument about how to restart things, and there's a group of people that wants to reduce the size of government, cut costs, probably a good idea. There's another group of people that says, well, what we've got to do is save, we got to increase taxes in order to reduce the deficit, probably not a good idea. The real answer here is not so much tied up with cutting costs or raising taxes. It is to grow. And so, therefore, what we need is for government to get out of the way and let businesses take off here.
Tom, thank you. Really appreciate it. Nice to see you again. Tom Fanning, the CEO of Southern Company.